Divine transformation. 3 miraculous steps to supernatural reality change revealed in 40 days. Mary sat in her quaint English village, the sun casting a golden hue on the cobbled streets as her world spiraled into darkness. The news of Daniel's diagnosis had shattered her. A terminal illness. A word heavy with fear, suffocating hope. She felt the weight of it press down as she kneeled in their local parish, hands clasped, heart racing. Around her, the vibrant congregation prayed fervently, a sea of supportive faces, yet her spirit remained entangled in despair. Days melted into weeks. The village wrapped its arms around Mary and David, a comforting presence amid uncertainty. Each time Father Thomas raised his voice in prayer, Mary's heart flickered with both faith and doubt. It was a battle within her. Would God heal her son? Did her prayers reach the heavens? The whispers of concern filled the air, shadows of worry lurking just beyond her faith. Then one morning, Father Thomas delivered a message that ignited a fervor in her soul. Miracles await. In 40 days, God's glory shall be unleashed upon us. The air crackled with divine anticipation. Mary's heart raced as hope ignited within her, pushing back the shadows. This was the promise she'd been waiting for, but the first week uncoiled like a tightrope walk between faith and fear. Each prayer felt tinged with desperation. As the days passed, Mary knelt before the altar, tears streaming down her cheeks. She poured out her heart. Could she truly believe? Was divine intervention coming? Weighty silence enveloped her, yet in those moments, she felt a warmth, a divine presence cradling her spirit. But then, doubt crept back in, gnawing at her core. The struggle between unwavering faith and the stark reality of medical truths escalated. Tick, tick, tick. Time felt relentless and anxiety wrapped itself around her. Just when the weight of despair threatened to silence her spirit, a divine moment unfolded during a candlelit vigil. The congregation gathered in prayer, and their voices rose like an orchestra in unison, echoes of faith vibrating through the sacred air. Mary felt a spark. A sudden, clear voice whispered to her heart, igniting a fire of hope. Believe, for I am with you. Just as despair peaked, a shift occurred. The following morning, Daniel's condition began to improve spectacularly. Breathless whispers echoed through the village. Miracles. It was as if the heavens had opened and poured grace upon them. Joy erupted, and celebratory laughter filled the air like sweet music. But while Mary's heart sang, apprehension tightened its grip. Had she truly grasped the nature of her trials, or was it merely a fleeting miracle? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the days of anticipation dwindled, Mary stood at the edge of the village, the sun setting in vibrant colors painted across the sky. She felt transformed but also burdened with questions. What purpose lay behind their suffering? Had Daniel's healing truly changed everything? A glimmer of joy surrounded her, but shadows of uncertainty lingered. How would she hold on to faith as life continued to unfold? What divine mysteries awaited her in the days to come? With a heart full of hope yet questioning, Mary looked out towards the horizon, searching for answers. The morning sun peeked through the trees, casting long shadows over the village as Mary awoke, her heart still fluttering from the hope of the past days. Daniel's laughter echoed in her mind, a melody that brought both joy and a tinge of fear. It was a sound she had nearly forgotten, drowned by the weight of diagnosis and despair. She moved cautiously from her bed, each step a reminder of the miracle that now pulsed through her family. As she prepared breakfast, she caught a glimpse of David, tirelessly researching treatments and potential therapies, his brow furrowed in concentration. A wave of gratitude washed over her for the love and resilience they shared. But beneath that gratitude lay an undercurrent of anxiety. What if this was just a moment of reprieve? What if darkness loomed again? They sat together at the table, Daniel's chair empty, a stunning reminder of his fragile condition. The morning passed quietly, with soft conversation, but Mary felt a tugging at her heart. She needed reassurance that this miraculous shift was more than a fleeting shimmer of hope. "David, do you remember when Father Thomas talked about faith?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Of course, love. He said faith is the substance of things hoped for," he replied, taking a deep breath. "And in our case, there's so much to hope for now." Her gaze fell to the untouched chair. Just the image of it filled the air with unanswered questions. What did faith truly mean when the trials felt free but still present? Mary leaned back, closing her eyes as she prayed silently. "God, help me trust in your path." Suddenly, the bell from the village church rang, a call to morning prayer. A sense of urgency stirred within her. Gathering her resolve, she grabbed David's hand tightly. "Let us go to the church. I need to share this hope with others, and we need their prayers." The church was alive when they arrived, filled with familiar faces united in their vigil. Mary's heart swelled as she recognized the faces of those who had lifted her up during the storm, and for the first time in weeks, she felt buoyed by communal strength. As the congregation sang a hymn, Mary joined in, her voice mingling with the others, a beautiful tapestry of faith and love weaving through the air. Father Thomas stepped forward with arms outstretched, a beacon of light against the backdrop of familiar stone walls. "God has shown us a glimpse of His grace," he proclaimed, eyes glistening with passion. "Believe, for the miracles are not only for this life, but for the next as well." In that moment, Mary felt the power of shared belief. It ignited something within her, an understanding that faith isn't merely about receiving miracles, but embracing the journey, trusting in every twist and turn. As the service drew to a close, Mary looked around, catching the eye of friends who had endured hardships of their own, who had found healing in unexpected ways. They had become a testament to resilience, their stories braided together like the vines in the village gardens. Yet, even amid this newfound strength, a question lingered in her heart. Was she truly ready to embrace whatever came next? Would her faith endure beyond mere hope for Daniel's complete healing? As the congregation began to disperse, a whisper of peace filled her soul. She walked out into the cool air, a gentle breeze brushing against her skin, stirring her spirit onward. With each step, her resolve hardened. Tomorrow would bring its own battles, but she would face them not with dread, but with the light of community and divine assurance, ready to receive whatever gift or challenge was wrapped in God's purpose. What awaited Mary and the village in the days ahead? The promise of a deeper, richer faith beckoned, but the journey was just beginning. The sun continued its arc across the sky, and the village pulsed like a heart, alive with whispers of new beginnings. As Mary and David walked back home, the air around them felt charged with possibility. Each passing face brought greetings, not just of friendship but of shared spirit, and she couldn't help but think of the tapestry being woven around them, threads of faith, love, and hope tightly bound together. "What if Daniel smiled today?" David asked, a hint of wonder in his voice. The thought ignited a flicker of warmth in her heart. They had nurtured dreams of joy for their son, but now, with the lingering echoes of the church service, those dreams felt more tangible. Later that afternoon, Mary gathered all her strength and entered Daniel's room. Sunlight streamed in, wrapping the space in soft gold, creating a sanctuary of warmth. As she approached him, she marveled at his stillness, the way he breathed so peacefully, untouched by worry. She sat beside him, taking his small hand into her own, feeling the pulse of life within him. "Daniel, sweet boy," she whispered, "today is another day. Today we can find joy, not just hope." His eyelids fluttered, and she held her breath, waiting for him to open his eyes. Finally, he did, blinking at the unfamiliar brightness with curiosity. A soft smile broke across his face, and though it was fleeting, it felt monumental. "Mom, the birds are singing," he said, his voice as fragile as a whisper, but full of innocence. "Yes, they are," Mary responded, her heart dancing at the sound of his voice, even if it was laced with remnants of fatigue. Let us listen to them together. They sat in silence, the songs of nature pouring through the window, filling the space with life and hope. Mary closed her eyes, drinking in that moment how sound could wrap around sorrow and lift it into the air, like a prayer ascending toward heaven. That evening, the three of them gathered around the dinner table again: David, Mary, and Daniel. The chair that had once felt empty now filled with the light of their love. They shared a simple meal, but it tasted like a feast as laughter echoed through their home, buoying their spirits. "David, can you tell me the story of the rainbow?" Daniel asked, eyes sparkling with wonder. In that request, the weight of the world lifted slightly. The tale of promise and hope resonated, bringing warmth to their gathering. As David spoke, weaving the colors of the rainbow into a story of God's faithfulness, Mary felt an awakening. With each word, they were reminded that beyond every storm, there was beauty waiting to emerge. Suddenly, a voice cut through the camaraderie. It was Ruth, their neighbor, knocking softly at the door. "Mary, I just received wonderful news about Alan," she exclaimed, a broad smile lighting her face. Alan had been battling illness for months, and their family had been praying fervently for his recovery. The news of his healing sparked a fire of gratitude in Mary's heart, another evidence of divine mercy surrounding them. David and Mary exchanged glances, a mixture of awe and joy settling within them. They were not alone. The village was a living testament to miracles unfolding, stories entwining. Yet, behind their smiles, a question loomed. How many more miracles could they witness? What would it take for belief to blossom into something even more profound? Tomorrow would hold new challenges, but Mary knew they were ready to face them with faith. As the stars began to twinkle above, she felt a stirring in her spirit, a whisper urging her to dig deeper, to explore the very essence of faith. What secrets would they uncover together in those coming days? With their hearts intertwined in purpose, they wondered what the divine had yet to reveal. The next morning dawned clear and bright, as if the heavens themselves had been painted fresh for the day. Mary awoke with a subtle excitement dancing within her heart. There was something magical in the air, and she breathed it deep. Today was a day full of promise, a canvas waiting for colors of hope to be splashed across it. As Mary prepared breakfast, the fading echoes of Ruth's joyful news still warmed her spirit. Each clatter of pans resonated like a small bell of victory, reminding her of the miracles that were blossoming around them. David came down with Daniel in his arms, both of them still wrapped in the soft cocoon of blankets. "Good morning, sunshine," Mary greeted, her smile wide. She felt the warmth of the moment embrace her, and the home swelled with a sense of belonging. "Can we go to the garden after breakfast?" Daniel asked, his voice bright and imbued with eager anticipation, stirring up forgotten dreams of running amidst the flowers. "Of course, sweet boy," David said, bubbling with enthusiasm. "The garden is waiting just for you." As they sat around the table, laughing and sharing stories, Mary could feel the bonds of their love tightening and forming. Each laugh felt like a joyful thread being added to the tapestry of their lives, creating something beautiful in the space they shared. After breakfast, they stepped outdoors, greeted by the gentle rustle of leaves and the rich fragrance of blooming flowers. The garden, once a neglected patch of earth, now sang with life. It was a reflection of their spirits, renewed and vibrant. "Look, Mum." Daniel pointed excitedly at a butterfly fluttering nearby. "It's like it's dancing, just for us." Mary watched the delicate creature soar through the air, free and joyful, and it sparked a thought. "Isn't it wonderful to think that change can be beautiful?" She mused aloud. "Yes, just like us," Daniel replied, his eyes bright. The innocence of his words struck Mary deeply, reminding her of how transformation often unfolds in ways we cannot predict. They knelt together, planting seeds in the rich soil, each one a promise of life yet to come. "You see, Daniel," David explained, gently pressing his fingers into the earth, "sometimes it takes time for seeds to grow, but our faith helps them push through obstacles to reach the sunlight." "Just like us," Daniel exclaimed again, exuberantly. As the day unfolded, they tended to the garden, pulling weeds, watering flowering plants and nurturing each new sprout. With every bit of care they offered, faith intertwined with action, and together they crafted a little world that mirrored the lightness of hope. Later, as the sun dipped low, coloring the sky in hues of orange and violet, Mary caught sight of something shimmering near the edge of their garden. Curious, she walked toward it. There, nestled among the foliage, was a small, glimmering stone unlike anything she had seen before. Intrigued, she picked it up. A warmth radiated from its surface, and as she turned it slowly in her palm, something profound stirred within her. The stone felt sacred, almost alive, a reminder that even the simplest of moments could hold depths of meaning. "Daniel, come look," she called, her voice vibrating with wonder. But even as her son approached, another whisper brushed against her consciousness. What if the stone was a symbol of something more? A divine message waiting to be unveiled? As the family gathered around the glowing stone, anticipation hummed in the air. Each of their hearts beat in rhythm, feeling the weight of unspoken questions. What did this discovery mean? Would it be another chapter of miracles woven into their lives? And just as they mulled over the mystery, the air shifted around them. What awaited them in the days to come, as they endeavored to seek the answer? The air vibrated with unspoken possibilities, wrapping the family in a divine cloak of anticipation. Mary held the stone, mesmerized by its warmth and glow, wondering what secrets it might reveal. It sparkled under the fading sunlight, casting playful patterns on the ground, almost as if it were alive. "Look closer, Daniel," she urged, her voice a gentle whisper as if they were sharing a treasured secret. "What do you see?" With wide eyes, Daniel leaned in. "It's like it's glowing just for us." His voice resonated with innocent awe, delighting Mary and David. "Yes," David agreed, kneeling beside them. "But more than that, it feels like it carries a message. What if it represents hope and faith? Something new is beginning." Mary pondered David's words, her heart fluttering with excitement. Could this small stone really be a harbinger of change, a catalyst for something bigger? The thought stirred within her like a breeze, teasing the edges of her understanding. Slowly, she placed the stone on the ground, creating a small circle in the cool earth around it with their fingers. It felt as though they were nurturing something sacred, something that needed their care. As night descended, a light breeze rustled through the leaves overhead, creating a symphony of whispers. They shared stories about the past, weaving memories with dreams for the future. Each laugh and shared moment felt charged with divine purpose, strengthening the bonds between them in a way that was gently transformative. Days passed, each morning beginning with the sun rising like a celebration. The family returned to the garden, now a sanctuary of hope and life. They watered the plants, plucked weeds, and danced with joy among the blooms, the little stone their quiet partner in the background. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Mary noticed something unusual. The stone began to pulse gently in the twilight, vibrating with light like a heartbeat. She drew in a breath, feeling a shift in the atmosphere. "It's glowing again," Daniel exclaimed, his excitement contagious. "Do you feel that?" Mary asked, glancing at David. "It's as if it's alive with energy." They all gathered around the stone, drawn to its rhythm. As they stood there, a wave of warmth washed over them, a sensation that resonated deep within. In that moment, Mary's heart quickened. Sensing a connection far beyond the tangible, she felt enveloped by the divine. It was a reminder that they were part of something greater, a narrative intricately woven into divine tapestry. "What if we're meant to share this?" David suggested softly, his eyes sparkling with conviction. "This could be a sign, urging us to embrace the transformation God has in store for us." A hush fell over them as the weight of his words settled in. What could this mean? The notion settled in their minds, opening doors to reflection, and within them stirred a deep yearning for divine revelation. What would happen if they took a leap of faith? As night enveloped them, the stars twinkled brightly above, visible reminders of hope piercing through darkness. The family clasped hands, a circle of trust and belief forming under the vast heavens. "Together, we can face whatever comes next," Mary said, her heart resolute. And just as she spoke, The stones seemed to thrum with life. A whisper echoed around them, soft yet captivating. What awaited them as they leaned into this newfound journey? Would the true meaning of their discovery unfold before them in dazzling clarity? The air shimmered with divine mystery. As dawn painted the horizon with soft hues of gold and rose, Mary felt an urgency rise within her. The morning air was fresh, almost electric. There was something waiting to be uncovered, a call beckoning them to explore the unknown. "Let us gather around the stone again," she suggested, her eyes sparkling with expectation. They made their way to the garden, hearts aligned with curiosity and a hint of trepidation. The stone was there, bathed in morning light, but now it felt different, almost charged with an unseen force. Daniel reached out first, his small fingers brushing against its cool surface, a gleeful smile spreading across his face. "It feels like magic," he shouted, laughing. Mary knelt beside him. "Maybe it is, in its own way. A divine magic, perhaps." David wore a thoughtful expression. "What if we are supposed to communicate with it? To understand its purpose?" As if in response to David's words, the stone pulsed again, sending ripples of warmth coursing through their arms. It was an unexpected touch, as if the stone itself wanted to be known, to share its secrets with them. "Let us close our eyes and hold hands," Mary instructed gently. "Let us invite the message to flow through us." They formed a circle, 3 hearts, unified in faith. As they closed their eyes, the world around them hushed. Even the rustling leaves joined in their quiet anticipation. With each breath, Mary felt layers of doubt peel away, revealing a profound sense of surrender. In that stillness, she sensed whispers rising from the depths of her spirit, guiding her towards clarity. "We are meant to embrace the unexpected, to shine light in the darkest places." Daniel's voice broke the silence, barely above a whisper. "What if we can help others find their own light?" Mary smiled. That innocent belief ignited a fire within her, a yearning to reach out, to spread this newfound understanding further than they could imagine. Suddenly, an image formed within the depths of her mind. A community gathered, united in their struggles and dreams, sharing stories of transformation. She envisioned families enveloped in love, holding hands just as they were now. "It's about connection," she murmured. "About loving and being loved." David's conviction echoed her sentiments. "We can plant seeds of hope just like we do in this garden. If this stone symbolizes our purpose, we must cultivate it together." As they opened their eyes, the garden felt vibrant, alive with a potential waiting to burst forth. The flowers stood taller, the birds chirped cheerfully, all empowered by their collective faith. "The stone can guide us," Mary declared confidently. Together, they began to form plans, ideas about sharing their message of hope with their friends and neighbors, about hosting gatherings to inspire others. Soon, the stones beneath their feet felt less like mere objects and more like a pathway towards a greater journey. Just as excitement bubbled within them, a shadow flickered across their faces, pulling doubts at the corners of their minds. What if they faced resistance? What if their message wasn't received? Mary took a deep breath, letting the warm breeze caress her face. "We will trust in the journey. Everything happens for a reason." As they prepared to stand, the stone glowed brighter, casting a spell of warmth around them. The air crackled with possibilities, resonating with a promise of divine transformation. What did the future hold for them as they took these first courageous steps? Would the path they chose lead to the miracles they yearned for? The answers shimmered in the distance, just beyond their grasp. With the stone-esque glow still warming their hearts, Mary, Daniel, and David felt an unmistakable excitement build within them. The world felt alive, ripe with new beginnings. Just as they were about to step away, the stone pulsed once more, a rhythmic beat echoing in the silence. It was as if it was inviting them deeper into its mystery. "Let us listen, really listen," Mary whispered, closing her eyes again. The sound of nature fell away, replaced by an inner stillness. In that moment of surrender, vivid images flashed in her mind: strangers becoming friends, supportive hands reshaping fragile hopes into strong foundations. The community she had envisioned was no longer just a thought. It was glowing, alive with possibility, waiting for them to step into existence. "Do you see it?" she breathed. David and Daniel nodded, sharing in her vision. David opened his heart cautiously. "But how do we begin? What if they don't believe us?" Mary placed her hand on his shoulder, feeling the warmth radiate between them. "It starts with us. We're the light that attracts. We never know who's waiting for a spark." Daniel's eyes shone brightly, brimming with excitement. "We can invite everyone. We can ask them to share their stories." As they talked, the air shifted again, thick with purpose. They spent the next hour weaving plans, discussing ways to create a gathering large enough to invite the world in, to share the warmth they felt. It was a beautiful tapestry of laughter, fears, and hopes, stitching their individual wishes into a shared dream. In the midst of their plans, Mary felt a flicker of apprehension in her heart. What if we face rejection? What if it doesn't work? Timid doubts wrapped around her, yet she felt an urge to push through. "But we're not doing this for ourselves. It's about love, about every heart that needs to hear it. Even if not everyone understands, we must try." Daniel chimed in, his voice steady. "And what if just one person hears it? That one person could change everything." His childlike faith ignited a flame of courage within Mary. The spirit of connection surged like a river flowing through them, powerful and unstoppable. As the sun climbed higher, casting a golden light upon their gathering, they stood hand in hand, feeling the warmth of life themselves. "Let us trust that each step we take is directed by something greater than us," David said quietly, and they nodded in agreement. Just as they felt the weight of their resolution settle, an unexpected wind rustled the branches of a nearby tree. It carried the scent of blooming flowers, a fragrant reminder that beauty often follows the storm. "Listen," Mary urged, tilting her head towards the breeze. "Could that be the voice of encouragement? Maybe it's a sign for us." With courage bolstered, they began to discuss specifics. They envisioned a gathering under the stars, a night illuminated not just by lights, but by hearts connecting, stories intertwining, promises of transformation sprouting from deep-rooted faith. But just as hope filled the air, a sudden unease crept back in, hidden beneath layers of excitement. What if their dreams became burdens too heavy to carry? What if the whispering doubts turned into intense fears, casting shadows over their bright ambitions? Mary took a deep breath, pushing through the uncertainty. "We're called to shine, to be beacons, regardless of the challenges ahead. Dark can become light, spirit can break through fear." As they finalized their plans, a soft chime echoed from the stone. They turned to it, noticing it shimmer with a piercing brightness unlike before. Was it a sign? Did it hold the key to the journey laid before them? With hearts racing, they sought to understand, knowing they were on the brink of something extraordinary. What new revelations would emerge as they took their connection into the world? Would people be willing to join them on this adventure of faith? The horizon shimmered with promise as they stood in the garden, knowing the next step was crucial. They felt the anticipation crackling in the air, the mystery calling them. Forward into the unknown, what awaited them as they set their intentions into motion? As the day wore on, the golden light transitioned into a serene twilight. Mary, Daniel, and David stood still, as if waiting for the universe to unveil its next move. Each heartbeat echoed a promise, an invitation to believe in what could be. They felt charged, like springs ready to launch into the unknown. "Let us make this real," Daniel said with fervor. "What if we gathered people at the park tonight? Music, storytelling, it could be magical." His enthusiasm was infectious, and the light in their hearts grew stronger. "Imagine," Mary added, her eyes sparkling like the first stars appearing in the sky. "People arriving, and when they hear our stories, it'll resonate with their own. It could ignite hope." David nodded, feeling the wave of inspiration wash over him. "We can set up a space with blankets, share food, give them a place to feel safe, and connected love can bring us together." The excitement amongst them swelled, radiating warmth and light. As they planned, Mary suddenly stopped, feeling the softness of the cool earth beneath her feet. Thoughts of their gathering intertwined with the concerns she had held. What if no one shows up? What if they laugh at us? Her vulnerability hung momentarily in the air. The winds picked up, wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. Daniel reached out, his fingers brushing over the smooth surface of the stone as if seeking reassurance. But what if it goes beyond our wildest dreams? What if this is the beginning of something divine? Mary inhaled deeply, absorbing the moment's energy. We have to learn to lean into love, despite our fears. Her voice trailed off, replaced by a soft wonder as an idea struck her. What if we also invite those who feel lost, those who need to be reminded that they're not alone? David smiled, his heart swelling with hope. You mean like the ones who faced hardships, who feel disconnected? They might fill the circle with even more light. A sense of divine coordination seemed to weave around their plans, filling the night with possibility. The three friends began to brainstorm, throwing out ideas wrapped in excitement. They envisioned stories of struggle turning into triumph, laughter mingling with tears, and a community stitched together by shared narratives. "Let us create a poster," Daniel said. "A calling card for our gathering." They quickly grabbed paper, crayons, and pens, their laughter bouncing off the walls of the garden shed. With each stroke, they infused their joy, determination, and hopes into the artwork, crafting an emblem of love that radiated warmth. As they finished, the stone chime rang out once more, its sound melding with their eagerness and wrapping them in a cocoon of affirmation. "It's a celebration of hope," Mary said, marveling at the masterpiece before them. "This is the connection we seek, the warmth we want to share." But as the stars began to dance vividly overhead, a flicker of doubt whispered in Mary's mind. "Do we have what it takes? Can we really make a difference?" The breeze around them shifted again, a reminder that faith is often accompanied by tremors of uncertainty. "Maybe the fear is part of the journey," Daniel murmured, leaning against the shed, his face glowing with sincerity. "Sometimes, when we step into the unknown, that's where the miraculous happens." Mary looked at her friends, their resolve encouraging her fragile courage to burst forth. "Together, we'll find the way. We'll draw the light as a beacon for those around us." In that moment, a convergence of faith bridged their hearts. The gathering took shape in their minds, taking root in the soil of hope. They had set the intentions deep. Would the world respond? With excitement buzzing in their veins, they prepared to venture outside, anxiously clutching their finished poster. As they stepped into the cool night air, the stars twinkled overhead, casting a path towards the unknown. What awaited them as they invited the world into their dreams? Would love's spark ignite souls yearning for connection? The night air hummed with possibility as Mary, Daniel, and David stepped out into the park. They could almost feel the heartbeat of the earth beneath their feet, a shared rhythm connecting them with every corner of the universe. There was a soft glow from the lanterns they had strung up in the trees, casting enchanting shadows as they arranged blankets and food. The excitement enveloped them, but it was mingled with a shaded apprehension. What if no one came to share in this moment of vulnerability and hope? Daniel caught Mary's lingering doubt and smiled. Sometimes, just being present is powerful enough. Even if it's just us tonight, we'll create something beautiful together. His words were like a balm, soothing her fears. As the last blanket was laid, they stood together. David looked around at the trees swaying in the gentle breeze, feeling their branches reach out as if inviting others into their fold. "Let us call to the universe, shall we?" he said softly, closing his eyes and lifting his hands. "We welcome everyone who needs a bit of light, whoever feels alone. Come, share our stories." Mary and Daniel joined him, forming a small circle. They breathed together, their inhales matching the rhythm of the night. Each exhale carried their intention into the heavens, sending whispers of hope spiraling into the cosmos. In that sacred space, the world beyond began to fade away, and only their shared energy remained. It wasn't long before the first few souls began to trickle in, drawn by an invisible thread. An elderly woman with a kind smile approached, followed by a young man with tired eyes. As they gathered, Mary felt a warmth blossom in her heart. Every new face brought another story, a testament to their shared humanity. "Should we start?" Daniel asked, looking around at the small crowd that had formed. "Yes," Mary replied, her voice now steady and bright. "Let us share who we are. Each person has something unique to offer." With a gentle nudge from Daniel, David was the first to speak. He shared his struggles with loneliness after moving to the city, how he longed for connection, and how this night was an answer to his prayers. As he spoke, the audience listened intently, their expressions reflecting understanding and compassion. The young man followed, unraveling his story of loss and how he had searched for meaning in the depths of his despair. Each narrative was a thread woven into an intricate tapestry of resilience. Laughter mingled with tears as they bonded over collective struggles, sharing in sacred vulnerability. Mary took a deep breath and stepped forward to share her own journey, bubbles of emotion gathering in her throat. Fear has often kept me from reaching out as she spoke about her doubts. The air was thick with empathy. But tonight, seeing all of you here reminds me that love can bridge the gaps between us. We can create hope together. The acknowledgement of their shared experiences lit a fire among them, igniting a newfound enthusiasm. One by one, stories flowed like a river, each one adding richness to the gathering. As the evening wore on and laughter cushioned the air, an inexplicable warmth enveloped them. Then, something remarkable happened. A hush fell over the group as a soft glimmer of light flickered above them in the trees, like a heavenly whisper. Gasps and glances exchanged. "Did you see that?" Someone murmured, pointing skyward. Mary's heart raced. Yes, it was like a sign. The crowd leaned in closer, captivated by the enchantment around them. The gentle breeze picked up a soft melody carried from somewhere unknown, harmonizing with the flicker of light. A tangible sense of hope began to swell in each heart, illuminating the darkness they had all come from. But in that moment of beauty, a question lingered unspoken. What did this transformation mean for them? Was the gathering merely the beginning of something profound? As starlight spilled across the park, inviting even more souls into their circle, the trio exchanged glances brimming with unuttered wonder. What awaited them next in this journey of shared light and love? Could they truly trust the path unfolding before them? The night continued to unfold like the wings of a butterfly, vibrant and full of life. Under the canopy of stars, Mary, Daniel, and David basked in the warmth of newfound connection. Each story shared, each laugh resonating, felt like a step deeper into purpose, a sacred bond formed among strangers now unified in faith and hope. As people began to mingle, Mary marveled at the tapestry woven from their collective experiences. The elderly woman with the kind smile shared tales of resilience, reminding everyone that even in the darkest seasons, light could break through and illuminate the way. The young man admitted that this gathering was a beacon he desperately needed, a refuge from loneliness. Mary felt a joyful warmth swell within her, each person's voice echoing her own journey, each struggle illuminating the path to healing and love. "Let us sing together," Daniel exclaimed suddenly, the innocence of his spirit shining brightly amidst the gathering. The suggestion drew spontaneous enthusiasm, and soon, melodies filled the air, harmonizing beautifully under the watchful gaze of the stars. Laughter and voices intertwined, scattering doubts like leaves carried by the wind. In that moment, Mary sensed the divine weaving through them, threading hope into despair, illuminating hearts with its presence. She looked around at the faces lit up with joy, their fears and burdens suspended, even if just for a fleeting moment. It was grace, it was a miracle unfolding. Yet just as joy filled the air, a thought trailed through her mind. Would this divine moment remain etched in their hearts? Could they carry this warmth out into a world often steeped in shadows? Overwhelmed with gratitude, she felt an urgency to encourage everyone to embrace their light. "Everyone, gather close," she called, drawing them in, their faces brightened by the flickering glow of lanterns. "This night is just a beginning. What we shared here isn't just for us, it's for everyone around us. Let us commit to nurturing this connection. Together, we can create a ripple of hope through our village and beyond." Whispers of excitement surged through the crowd. The elderly woman stood and nodded, enthusiasm replacing hesitation. "Yes, we should hold more gatherings. We can start a community where everyone feels welcomed and valued." The young man who had shared his story chimed in. "Let us share our stories online too. If we can find each other through our vulnerabilities, then we can reach others who are feeling lost. Mary beamed as each idea circulated like electricity, an unbreakable ripple igniting hearts. They poured forth plans: weekly meetups, shared meals, intentional outreach to neighbors. With each passionate suggestion, the air buzzed, alive with divine purpose, reminding Mary that hope often burgeoned in the joining of hearts. As the evening transitioned into night, the feelings of unity crescendoed. One final hush settled over everyone as Daniel reached into his pocket. Pulling out the glowing stone, he held it high. This represents our gathered light. Let it symbolize what we've created tonight. A sense of wonder washed over the crowd, their eyes reflecting the stone's brilliance, now shimmering with amplified energy, listening, promising, inviting. Then, the wind shifted, carrying whispers that seemed to echo from a distant place. It was as if the universe itself was rejoicing with them, indelibly marking this occasion in time. As Mary breathed in deeply, she felt transformed. The weight of past fears dissolved in the kindness shared, and in its place surged an inexplicable peace. Her heart swelled as she recognized that this community would not only reinforce their faith, but extend forth a network of love pulsing in rhythm with divine purpose. That joyous night marked the beginning, not merely of gatherings, but of a movement, a transformation deeply rooted in shared stories, faith, and friendship. Mary's dream unfurled, and she found solace in knowing divinity anchors even the smallest of actions with significance. As stars glimmered brilliantly over the park, illuminating their newfound community, she whispered a prayer of gratitude for this moment, a poignant declaration of trust in the path ahead. They had ignited a flame that would light the way through whatever trials awaited them. "We will persevere," she spoke softly, "because together, enduring love can transform lives, and we will not shy away from bringing light into the world." And as they stood united, Mary, Daniel, and David knew they were just beginning to uncover the vast possibilities of their faith, their purpose intertwined in profound ways only known to the divine now. As you've journeyed with us through this story of faith and transformation, it's time for you to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel and don't miss the next exclusive faith stories that will stir your soul and ignite your spirit. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread this vital message of hope. Comment below with your thoughts and testimonies about how this story has impacted you. Your voice matters. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of faith and love. This is the moment to show your support, and together, let us transform lives and create a community of light. Don't wait even one more second to share.